Hey everybody, welcome to Me Paintings. I'm Veronika and today I will be repainting this old pour, which I don't like anymore. It's not pretty. So I decided I'm gonna make a new pour on it, and I chose some lovely colors like this light blue, dark blue, also this green, pink and some light purple. And as a base I'll be using my titanium white color. And I want to tell you what I did with my colors. I mixed them with pouring medium. I use 50% of acrylic colors and 50% of pouring medium, and that mix works for me. And I make my own pouring medium from this kind of glue. It's PVA glue, which I bought in a local shop, and I use 60% of PVA glue and 40% of distilled water, or just tap water is okay. I tried both and there's not really a difference between them. And I also put 2 drops of silicone oil in each color, even in my white. So all of my colors have got 2 drops of silicone oil. So it should create some nice cells, I hope. Now I'm just gonna prepare my colors. And firstly I'm gonna pour white on the bottom of my cup, and then this nice blue color. Here we go. Lovely blue color. And I put the description of colors in the description box down below, so if you'll be interested you can check them out. Now my light blue color. Also this lovely green color. It's kind of something between teal and green. I like this shade of green. This should create some nice mix of colors. Quite a lot of green. And here's my light purple, like lilac purple color. And this pink, very nice shade of pink color, just a little bit. I don't want too much pink in it. I rather like to have blue, green and purple in there. My favorite trio. So I'm gonna put some white on the top of all of my colors, just to mix it up a little bit. And here we go. Let's make a flip cup. Ready, steady, go. And let's put some white around my cup because it helps with the flow. So I'm just gonna put the rest of my white around my cup. It helps the colors to move on my canvas, and I don't want to waste any colors, so let's just use them all. Here we go. I'm gonna use a pin and make a little hole and see what happens. Ooh, here we go. It doesn't look really interesting, no cells. Nice shade of purple. It's growing. Whoop. Now don't waste any colors. I'm gonna move it. Oh, some cells are growing, but my blue completely disappeared. I don't know where my blue is. That's weird. I can't see any blue in there, but green and purple, nice mixture. So let's spread it everywhere. And my colors have got silicone in them, so it should create cells when I use heat gun. Now let's move it into every corner. Cover the old pour. Now this looks like it's done. I know it doesn't look very interesting now, but I sometimes blow my painting with just my mouth and it creates big cells. it creates nice, interesting cells, and then I try to use heat gun, which creates smaller cells. So I like the mixture of big and small cells because it adds a little uniqueness to my pour, but this is definitely not very interesting mixture of colors. Oh well, let's use my heat gun and see what happens. Here we go. Ooh, some small cells growing, which is nice. These small cells are... Oh, I like these. I like these small cells. And I'm sorry, I made a swipe and I didn't record it, but I used a wet tissue paper and made a swipe to save it, but I'm not sure if I saved it. I like the top part, but the bottom part is weird looking, so I'm gonna try to use my heat gun and see if it creates some cells on the bottom of my painting and see how that looks. Well, that's not a big change, so yeah. Well, the more I paint, the more I learn, so I'm gonna keep it and I'll see how it looks when it gets dry, and I might try to do something with it or not, I don't know. I will let you know. Hey guys, welcome back after 6 months. This pour has been lying in the corner for 6 months. I can't believe this. And it was actually one of my first pours and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I just thought it's a failure. But I love the colors and these beautiful cells, which looks very interesting, but I didn't like the bottom part. But then we traveled to Cyprus and we went to visit these beautiful waterfalls in the deep forest. And suddenly it was like click, and I knew this pour is gonna be waterfalls with beautiful tree. So now I know how to paint it. I was really unhappy with this one, but now I see a beautiful picture in my head and I can't wait to paint it. And I don't understand why I didn't see it before, but I just needed to visit Cyprus to know how to paint this. So let's get started. I've got all of my brushes prepared here and all of my colors. I mainly will be using these deep green colors, some light blue for waterfalls and gray for rocks, which will be here and here. My idea is to have rocks with waterfalls in here, and I will have a beautiful flying tree here in the middle. Firstly, I will draw some lines with my pencil to see if my idea will be working or not. Okie dokie, so let's get started. Firstly, I will try to paint my flying tree. I'm gonna start with this flying land. I will probably choose this viridian green and this kind of green. I don't know how to read that one, sorry. And I will paint the grass with my brush. So I know the colors won't be natural, but I want them to match this board. That's why I chose these two colors. I'm gonna use this kind of brush, size 12. So let's start with the lighter one. You don't have to be precise at this point. You just need to paint the background of your land. Now the darker shade of green. And I might try to paint a little bit of grass with this brush. Now I need to use a lighter shade of blue, so I'm gonna choose maybe some yellow green, which could be good, and also raw sienna, this one. Can you see that? Sorry. So some lighter shades of green grass. Tap it like this. It creates a nice grass structure. That should be all right for the beginning. And now time to paint the bottom of my land. And for that I will be using my Mars brown. So I will add it a little shape. But this is not the final, like I don't start from details. I start from big things and then I go to smaller things. Like this. It will be the edge. I will have water running down here, but I can paint a little bit underneath. Now that's all right for the background of my land. And now I will try to paint my tree with the same color, Mars brown, but this again just for the background, and then I will work on the little details. Now the trees, I will use my dark green and just gently tap to create the structure of my tree. Now I'm also gonna use a deep green color, a darker color. And time to use some lighter colors like this yellow green, which I will mix with my dark green a little bit. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of white, titanium white. So I'm mixing a little bit of that green with titanium white. See, it's already looking nice, like a tree. Don't overdo it. It's a little bit tricky to know when to stop, but let's put a little bit of Yep, looking like a nice tree. And now I'm gonna work on the trunk, give it a little bit more detail. Now I've got my brown and sienna colors here on my palette, so I'm gonna work on my bottom part a little bit. I'm gonna do some shading and some little details. Now I'm gonna paint some little details on my bottom part with my light sienna and titanium white. Now also some darker shades, so I'm gonna mix this dark brown with this dark gray to create some darker shades around here and in my bottom part. And you might think, what on earth is going on here? So this is part for my beautiful waterfall, and for that I will use my sky blue and maybe my cerulean blue mixed with white. And now for my water, I'm going to use this type of brush. Just put it in my white color and run it like this. So I'm gonna mix a little bit more green and work on the shades. Now let's work more on the details here. I'm gonna paint like little edges here so it looks more like it's there. More on the shading. Now a little bit on the grass. No, that's too light. No, I don't want that. Now I'm gonna paint my little tiny branches here with my little brush. So at this stage it looks like this, with beautiful sky and little waterfall. And now I will need to paint the rocks. So here comes the rock part, and my basic idea was to paint rocks here and then they would disappear in this pour, but I don't know how that will look like, so I'll see. I start painting just a little bit, and if it won't look good I will paint the rest, but I hope it will look interesting, only like fading in the pour. And I hope it will make an interesting effect. And for my rocks I will start with my dark gray. This is gray and this one is cold gray, so I might mix these two colors on my palette and start with the dark part of my rocks, and I decide on the shapes of them, and I will decide how they look. Paints gray. Guys, I'm so happy I can finally paint this, because my children, they were ill for like 4 weeks and I didn't have a second for myself, and it was driving me crazy. We were still ill, we couldn't get out of that illness, so I'm so happy I can paint this tonight. I don't know if you know that feel, but I couldn't paint for a few weeks, and I just felt I needed to paint something. And this one is so much fun. I hope you are enjoying this tutorial. Please let me know if you enjoyed it, because your feedback is so important for me. And I'm very grateful for all your comments and likes. So now this should be the right color for my rocks. And I start here. Might decide on the shape. So I will work on this part a little bit later. I need some background here a little bit, like this. But that's okay. I will paint that later on. My rock. And this part should be with my waterfall. I know it looks weird now, but it will be better. Now let's use a little bit of water, and I will try to blend it into my pour like this. Now I will take a new brush, put it in the water, and I will just like try to blend it like this. You can help yourself with your fingers. Sometimes they use well for blending. Nothing interesting so far, but it will be more interesting, promise. This rock here, then another rock here. This one will be a big one. I'm just gonna use this kind of brush, and I'm gonna create a shape of my stones. They will be quite sharp. Now I'm gonna try to paint my waterfalls now a little bit, because I want it to blend with my acrylic pour. So I'm just gonna paint a little bit of my water. I'll tap this here, and my waterfalls will be coming from here down here. Now I want to paint some green parts of my stones, so for that I chose different shades of green, like my very deep green, Prussian green, and this Viridian green, if I read it right. I'm gonna gently tap my brush on my stones. Firstly, I want to use a darker color, like this. Parts which are closer to water will have some green parts. Hey, it's another day, and I walked away from it, and I know it's not perfect. Now I can see some mistakes, so I'm gonna repair them. And my hubby actually said it's not good because this is all in one line. And I know he's true, it's not perfect. And if I painted this from scratch, I wouldn't paint this all in one line. But the reason why it is like this is because I wanted my pour to blend with my painting, and these waterfalls blends naturally with my pour, so that's why I made them here in this line, and I'm actually quite happy with it. I don't care if he does, if he thinks that it's not perfect. And here's the final result of my pour with my flying tree and waterfalls. I'm gonna call it Tree of Life because it symbolizes togetherness, and it is a reminder that even though you are feeling alone or isolated, you are not alone. You are connected to the world, and you are connected to everything and everybody. And I love these cells because they remind me souls flying everywhere. They remind me you, people who are watching this video. Because if you were not watching this, I would never make this. I would never think of making such a painting. And this tree, it reminds me my journey. Because I was a little seed a few months ago and I started to grow. I'm still a little tree with one leaf, but I'm really enjoying this journey and I love learning new things, and I hope you are also learning something from me. And I hope I inspire you to create your own beautiful art and to find happiness in painting. Well, thank you very much for watching, and if you liked my video, please give a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel where you can see many more interesting videos. Or you can also hit the bell and receive notification every time I upload a new video. Well, thank you again for watching, because if you were not watching this, I would never make this video. So thank you for that, and see you soon. Bye.